गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। वणकम, प्रणाम और जय हिंद। आज का अपडेट और ओपन सेशन में मैं अपना एक नया सोच आप सबको के सामने चाहता हूँ। छोटा सा सोच है, बट आई मीन लेट मी पुट इट दिस वे, इट्स नॉट अ स्मॉल थॉट, इट्स अ बिग थॉट. It's been in my mind for quite some time. I've spoken to a few people, but let me put it across to all of you and see what kind of a response I get from you. And then, of course, we'll take questions. We all know that, the globe is in conflicts. Ukraine war, Israel-Hamas war, South China Sea tensions, problems in North Africa or the Sahel portion of North Africa. AFPAC region is in problems on our west, and Myanmar is in problems on our east. We all know that. I mean, it's been now there anything between 1 to 3 years. You go further, look at the West Asia crisis. Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, Syria, they're at daggers drawn with each other. Iran has now gone ballistic. We'll see where it goes. And USA and Houthis are fighting it out in the Red Sea. But importantly, the war is coming nearer to us on our western front. It is not only along Pakistan, further down south. Okay, now this is the reality today. What am I going to speak of? In this context, I want to talk to you about the new two and a half front war, or the new two and a half front which confronts India. We all know that the traditional 2.5 front, two and a half front, it was first enunciated by General Deepak Kapoor, or ex Chief of Army Staff, long back. He spoke of a northern front against China. He spoke of a Pakistan front again, and half a front, which is basically insurgencies in Kashmir and the northeast. But from when he spoke to now, a whole lot of things have changed. Successive chiefs have stressed that India needs to be prepared for 2.5 wars, or two and a half front confrontation. So the time has come, in the backdrop of conflicts coming nearer onto our west. Is there a need to change this perception? I feel so, for many reasons. But let me go step by step. Okay, what was this, the Northern Front at that time? Why was the Northern Front a huge problem for us then? If you see, in the Northern Front, till about 2020, our infrastructure differential was huge. China had roads well up to Tibet, almost up to the LAC. They could bring equipment where they wanted. They could loaf around where they wanted. And they could dominate the LAC with their infrastructure, through their infrastructure, quite a bit. On the other hand, we were always worried whether we could do that. We almost didn't do it in Eastern Ladakh. Why? We didn't have infrastructure. So we kept our troops on the top. The Chinese never kept troops on the top. The Chinese troops were always far behind. They relied on their mobility, they relied on their infrastructure to put pressure on the LAC, which they did very successfully in 2020. But then, from then to now, things have changed. And how have they changed? Our infrastructure and our preparation and the number of troops we have on the LAC has increased. Our ability to react on the LAC has increased. We have closed the gap of infrastructure. Our infrastructure might not be as good, but we are in a position to take troops there and sustain them to do what is required to be done. That gap we have closed. Whether we have closed the gap to dominate the LAC is a question mark, but that's a work in progress. It will continue. Now, specifically, if you look at it, you look at all these star marks along the LAC. These are the places where action has taken place in the past 3 years. The top two are Depsang and Demchok, where even now we are in a face-to-face situation. Further, a little to the south, you have these two places in the central sector where it has come to light that the Chinese have tried something and they have repulsed them. And we have also done some cross-border or trans-LAC operations. It indicates that you are able to go across at a point where we want to do. It also indicates that the Chinese are not able to make headway. And this is feasible because of the infrastructure change or orientation to the LAC of our troops, commanders, everyone, training, and so on and so forth. The same thing, they tried it in Doklam, they've been stopped. They've tried 2, 3 other places in uh, Siliguri, or rather in Sikkim, they've been repulsed. Same thing has happened in Yangtze and Tawang sector. So if you see the past 3 years, the LAC in some manner has solidified. Gone are the days when I think India and its armed forces are worried that the Chinese will make a great invasion. We now know they can't. On the other hand, there is this newfound issue which also has surfaced in General Naramne's book in some form, that we have the capability to go across. That will have two effects on the LAC. The first effect on the LAC is that China, will be detected far more in advance if they approach the LAC. Now you're manning it in strength with the capability of being able to reach there in time. So the issue of surprise is gone. Okay. So if the issue of surprise is gone, they can't make headway because you have the mobility to place your troops where you want on the LAC and stop them or go across. That you've given them that thing that we will do it. Indication. So where does it leave you? Where does it leave the Chinese? Where does it leave the LAC? So this front has changed. You have to start thinking differently for this front. Earlier, our thought process for this front was how to defend this front. But this front today requires something, a different approach. Are we talking of different deterrents along this front? Or are you talking of being offensive on this front? Depending on how you prepare for this front, your posture will evolve accordingly. And how you prepare for this front depends on what capacities we build. And what capacities we build depends on how much we can invest, we can put our systems through to make things happen on ground. I'm bringing this up just before the budget. In 2 days, the budget will be announced. It will tell us what we are doing about this. Very important, right? So the northern front has changed. The front remains. There's no change in the front. But the northern front, the threat from this front, and the kind of threat you can pose to the Chinese has changed. And if you want to make further changes and protect the sovereignty and integrity of our nation, we have to think differently for this front. So this is the first front. Let's look at the Pakistan front. Earlier, the Pakistan front was what was there in that smaller dotted circle, just the border, Pakistan and its border. But things have changed. In the 3 to 4 years which have passed, Pakistan is no more a strong state. Its economy has gone. Politically, it is in a disarray. TTP, Taliban, and other non state actors are not its best friends anymore. It has strife on the western border. In essence, which we've spoken of off and on, the no, the northern, I would say, Pakistan has three active fronts: Iran, Afghanistan, and India. India is its most peaceful front. In this kind of condition, we need to change our tactics against Pakistan. But what has Pakistan been doing? Now, Pakistan has expanded its activities into the Arabian Sea. Pakistan is now an active member of the Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran, Gathbandhan. Will it become a Mahagathbandhan? We'll see. But definitely, action is taking place there. Simultaneously, there is also the action by the Houthis, Somalis, or from Somalia, pirates, and the Red Sea spillover taking place. After all, yesterday one of our ships, INS Vishakhapatnam, went and intervened there to help someone. Before this, we foiled a hijack attempt. This side of the Gulf of Eden, it is the Indian Navy which is operating. The other side of the Gulf of Eden, in Red Sea, it is the US Navy which is operating. And the British Navy. There's no fourth Navy operating here. So that whole story has expanded. So this front needs a redo. It needs to be rethought of completely. And this rethought has to be a joint services effort, a theaterized effort. It is no more the case that when you look at the Western theater, it is only Pakistan. When you look at the Western theater today, in my way of looking at it, you need to look at the Red Sea, you'll need to look at the North Arabian Sea and the activity and the Gulf. So if ever we have a Western theater command, which would be our second front, you have to relook this. Are we thinking this way? Or are our theater commands going to evolve on that old thing? One northeastern front, one or the one northern front, one western front, and one maritime front. That's outdated thinking, and that's not being in sync with reality. And as India's power rises, you have to start thinking of the fronts right up to the Arabian Peninsula and the Horn of Africa. Purists of the naval system will say, oh, all the seas are global commons. Anyone can go there. You can't draw a line in the sea. I agree with it. Anyone can go anywhere he wants. I agree with it. But at the end of the tree, there's land. And people of that land could be inimical or friendly with you. So you have to either deter them, attack them, or those who are friendly with you, protect them. The time has now come for us to think differently. If tomorrow you want to be a net security provider in the Indian Ocean region, we keep talking of it. So if you talk of it, walk the talk. Are we walking the talk? We'll again know day after tomorrow when the budget comes out. I'll get back to you the day the budget comes out and see, analyze what is the gap between what we are talking and what we are doing based on hard figures in the budget. Okay, now where does this half a front go? There's still half a front. We all know that J&K is no more the front that it is, right? So J&K is really no front. But will violent incidents stop there? They won't. They'll continue. And whatever happens as part of the Western Front, you deal it with through Pakistan. It's no more that hardcore problems which we had earlier. That's changed forever. And by the end of the year, if elections are held, which will be held, and things go well, that front would have vanished. Okay, now let's look at the Northeast. The Northeast generally stable. Whatever is happening in Myanmar, not Myanmar, whatever is happening in Manipur, is largely an internal political problem. It is not a, it's a security problem due to internal politics. It's not a defense related problem. It has its connections. It's not. That can't be a front. Your own state can't be a front. If tomorrow you can get to a political settlement between the Meiteis and the Cookies, this front vanishes. And whatever is happening in Myanmar, a spillover here, is also not a front. You're not at war with them. I don't perceive great problems from these people. But what is of interest of this half a front is something different. That is why the new half front, I call it, consists of the situation in Bangladesh and Myanmar and in the North Bengal or northern part of the right. So this is something which we have to look at because today you have a government in Bangladesh which is towards you, but tomorrow the situation might not change because I think after the last election, certain things have changed permanently in Bangladesh. And Myanmar, there are no signs of abating, and the civil war will continue because it's all drugs. And now, this front, which is based on Bangladesh and Myanmar, will give us problems for drugs. It will give us problems through the Chinese. It will also give us the problems of spillover effects. Add to this the situation developing in Maldives. And this Maldives situation is not going to run away. It's not going to run away. We should be very clear about it. China has got its grip on this today after 5 years. It will not let go. Or at least it will not allow it to be gone. So you have to do something. So you need a different. So you're looking at a new two and a half front situation which confronts India. Is this new two and a half front situation sacrosanct? No. Someone might say, no, this is a three front situation. I have no problem. But definitely today in this update, what have I clarified to you or attempted to put across to you? That the old two and a half front scenario has changed forever. We have to start thinking of a new two and a half front scenario or a three front scenario, which we need a debate. Give it to your friends. Give this video to your friends. Let them see. Let them think. It's a new thought process. The most difficult thing about putting a new thought process in anyone's head is not that they will accept the new thought process, but it is in kicking out the old thought process. It will not go. Their people are conditioned to the old thought process, whereas a new paradigm is emerging in front of us. You can't be a great power with the old paradigm of threat. Like you want to move towards Atmanirbharta, so you have to confront this new situation. If not, will be wrong. Or preparation will be wrong, or strategies will be wrong, or doctrines will be wrong. I'm not saying that this is something new which, you know, was not thought of. These threats existed. But I think we need to think differently to handle them. Especially in the, once the maritime issue comes up, your diplomacy has to kick in. Are we prepared for that? Today I heard something very nice. There was this expert who said diplomacy needs a military platform. Diplomacy won't function if it does not have a military platform. Unless your military platform is strong and it creates the conditions geopolitically, regionally, nationally, or internally, diplomacy will not work. Diplomacy will not have a leg to stand on. So, in this context, it is important for us to re examine these fronts, to re examine our construct, or defense construct, or security construct, and think anew. I'll be more than happy to receive criticism on this or your opinion, whether I'm right or wrong. But whether I'm right or wrong is not the point. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Because at the end of the day, whatever comes out of this discussion, India should be right. And I want India to be right. And that is why I thought, let me put it out. Because for many people, the understanding of this new uh, security paradigm which we are getting into has not been enunciated. And if you are working on an old paradigm, your capability building also will be on an old paradigm. We need to think differently. And that is the sum total of my presentation today on the new two and a half front. With this, I'll take on questions now. Yeah, Pakistani YouTubers are making lots and lots of money by inviting Indians on their channels. How can we stop Indians from falling into their hand? Don't worry, it will not happen. Okay, people who are going to their channels are pretty good people who know how to talk and what to talk. They're experienced people, and these people are also going and presenting a viewpoint or Indian viewpoint to the Pakistani people, and the Pakistanis know what to expect from India, so that they are in no wrong ideas, no wrong conceptions that India will do what it has to do or not do. Right? So that's how it is. Jai Hind, sir, and Jai Hind Sri Ram. Same to you. Jai Hind, Jai Hind, Jawaharlal. Why Pakistan establishment have started spreading against India? This is normal. They will do it. That is why they have come out now. They have taken cue from Canada and USA, and now they have said we are carrying out assassinations there. Right? They only named two, but how many assassinations have been done there? How many people have been bumped off by unknown gunmen there? Why only two? But they'll do it. Expect it. Jai Hind, Akash. How are you? Namaskaram, Vishwanathan. And Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you. Why many Pak tubers are going gaga about India? How establishment allow them to, and not to journalists like. Look, I don't know who Imran Niaz is, but most of these chaps who are talking about India are talking from abroad. And they're talking a lot of sense. I've listened to a few of these. They talk a lot of sense. They said, look, if India can do all this, why can't we do it? It is from that viewpoint. They're not happy with India. You still see them talking ill of India in some form of Hindu fanaticism and this and ideology, and Muslims are being, you know, looked down, all that nonsense. But now they realize that India has gone somewhere and Pakistan is there only. So they're looking at it. Why not let them look at it? Dear, I saw a clip of late ISI chief Hamid Gul, who said Kashmir is a low-hanging fruit. Main target is New Delhi. And yeah, CGT, my dear, you're living in some, last century. Hamid Gul to mar gaya. Low-hanging fruit to gir gaya. Pakistan is a low-hanging fruit. Okay. And if we play our cards well today, Gilgit Baltistan and POJK will become low-hanging fruit because for the past 5-6 days there are tremendous protests going on around all those areas. Where it will lead to, we'll see. Pranam Jan Shakka, are women in Army, Navy, and Air Force equally trained as men in combat role? Why we want gender equality when nature didn't make us unequal, make us equal? I'm personally against it. I'm scared. Look, let's be very frank. On paper, they get the same training, but actually on ground, they don't because uh, their standards are pretty. I think there's a difference in standards, if I'm not mistaken. And people are a little easy on women because the fundamental thing is that the women have large pelvic girdles. Pelvis is wide, and with a large wide pelvic framework, they can't take on a lot of physical exercise. This is medically proven. So they're having a lot of injuries. That one knows, and so that's how it is. But then today you're in a liberal world. You have a prime minister who says Nari Shakti, and it's good to a large extent because uh, you know a ladies a larger part of the workforce has to come into larger part of the ladies have to come into the workforce. The workforce participation from women is very less. That's very high in China. In our case, it's less. So you when you look at it from many points of view, I'm not against what's happening by getting ladies into the armed forces. Okay. Today I saw a little girl. She's in her 11th. I was asking her when during a walk. She's a daughter of an armed forces personnel, an army officer. So I asked, "Baby, what are you going to do?" She said, "Sir, I'm going to join NDA." I said, "Very good." And then she asked me, "When did you join NDA?" I said, 1974. And last week I finished 50 years of joining NDA. So and I was telling her, and she goes, "Oh, uncle, how was NDA then and how was NDA now?" I said, "NDA is the same, nothing has changed. People coming out of India are also good. People who will come out of India are also good, but that's how good India is." So don't worry about it beyond a point. Could do a session with General Hasnain about disaster management. Yeah, we'll do it. It's on our mind. Yeah, why 95% of Pakistan population believes in Ghazwa Hind? When that's their mental makeup. That is what they've been taught in the past 75 years. In 75 years, they've been taught this. So how will it go out? So let's not live in a fool's world. Okay. Thanks a lot, Akash. When we remove fear and greed from our thought process, we are then thinking clear clinical strategy and tactics and wargaming to win with a probability tree at hand. Your views? I think so. Where there is fear, there is doubt. Where there is doubt, there's uncertainty or incapability. So unless you have a clear mind that you want to do something useful and you do it without fear or favor, you can't achieve anything. I still remember one day in the morning, I was told, look, next 15 minutes, move in front of uh, Mr. Manohar Parikar's office. There's a conference there. So I just reached the office. I was told, go there. They said, okay. I didn't even know what it was for. I asked them what. They didn't tell me. They said, we don't know. Ministers called you. So I went there. When I went there, it was a meeting to give approval for the introduction of Dhanush gun system into the army and productionizing it. So everyone who was involved with it, OFB, Defense Secretary, and the works, they were all there. And they felt that the DGRT will, listen to them and usko bula liya. They didn't call the chief or others. Anyway, they didn't have time. They called me. So they told the defense minister. So the time has come to give order for Dhanush. So they gave some story and all that. And Manohar Parikar asked from one end. I was the only person in uniform that day. So yeah, your views, your views, your views. He came. He says, "Let me ask the DGRT. Should we induct this gun into the Indian Army and give an order?" Then I told him, I said, "Sir, I have been the biggest proponent of this gun. For the past 7 years, that was 7 years then, I've been working to induct this gun into the Indian Army. But at this point of time, I will not recommend it." He said, "Why?" "Because it doesn't fire well. You today say it is fit for production. They'll productionize a gun which is unfit for firing and they will induct it into the army. And if it is unfit for firing, tomorrow India will lose." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It doesn't fire 3 rounds in 15 seconds like Bofors. The Bofors is 1984 technology. We are in 2015. 30 years later, if I have a gun which doesn't even match the Bofors, I don't need it. I might as well buy more Bofors." He looked at others and he said, "Have you heard what the DGRT has said?" Everyone said yes. He says, "I think this meeting is closed. Carry on." I hung back and I told him, "I'm sorry, sir, but this is the truth." He said, "No, what you said is right. You go, we'll talk about it later." When I came out, some of these bureaucrats told me, "What have you done?" I said, "What I did, I did." until date, that gun has not been full. The problems of that gun and the productionization of that gun has not been completed so far because there are problems, and we didn't sort it out. That is a different story. But I said what I had to do without fear. That's what I wanted to tell you about, Akash. Great analysis, sir. I'm also thinking same ways, but difficult to express. Yeah, has broadened my thoughts. Yeah, give it, Anirudh, give it to everyone. What I'm going to do tomorrow is that part which I said separately, the first, I'll make it into a small video and push it out. So I'd request all of you to send it to all your friends. Ask more to join in. Yeah, Indian Navy had to respond to British tanker MV Marlin Luanda's distress call. What happened to the Instagram bravado? This okay. It doesn't matter what happens, Partha. We have done our job. That's why I told you. We have a greater role to play. Our thinking has to change now. That's more important. Abhijit, Jai Hind, Shat Koti Pranam Aapko. Can you comment on the recent meeting between Arambai Sengol with local MP and the demand of cookies for a UN? How can this deadlock be resolved? I'll not talk of it now because there's a new development, there are few things happening. I'll ask General Shaukin Chauhan to talk to us on Manipur latest developments on 3rd or 4th. He was in Singapore, he's back. I'll speak to him and we'll talk about this in detail. Because it's disturbing for me to think that from May to now things are going on. And this Arambai Sengol is half a militant outfit. And unfortunately, it is in some way uh, out of the shadows of militancy, but in the shadows to be when it comes to being nominated as a militant organization. Jai Hind, sir, Pakistan Air Force is committed to J-31 fighter jet, but our Air Force is still. Don't worry, that doesn't matter. We don't have to follow what Pakistan does. They have no choice but to go for J-31 fighter, which doesn't work. So what's the hurry? Don't worry. Umar, relax. Don't get into a competitive thing with Pakistan. Have confidence in what we do. Admittedly, the general public awareness about the strategic aspects is very poor. People are just busy playing petty politics based on caste, regional loyalties, and so called. I agree with you. That's a problem with our political system. And this applies to our political party in power or the coalition in power. Being in government, they have a larger understanding of things. But at macro level, and at times when I speak to many politicians at the lower level, they have absolutely no clue. And this is the difference between China and India. And we have to admire them to some extent that their political thought process and their military thought process coincided. Their political thought process, their economic thought process, and their security thought process combines. Whether we like it or not is a different thing. And their politics and the politicians are smart enough to push an agenda through from top to bottom at double speed. We can't think of. Right? And I think while the present government has done a lot to achieve a lot in the country, I also think there are a lot of things where opportunities have gone by due to the lack of understanding. Jai Shri Ram, Namaste, Namaste to you also. Why does the Indian Commission in Pakistan invite Pakistan? I mean, I don't know, Sharmila. You're at it. There's a third question, second question asking. Just relax. Take a back seat. Things will be okay. Your view on info warfare? We'll do one complete episode on info warfare and the narrative warfare sometime next week. Now that you asked for it. Any possibility that US holds hands with China as well as India and shoves them together into theater of war? I don't think so. You today I heard an interesting discussion by the right wing think tank, a right wing think tank in USA, and they're very clear that how they're going to help Trump when he comes into power. That's their hope. How they're going to help Trump to sort out China fully. They have no doubt about it. So don't have these doubts. What is your opinion on the fifth generation war fighters like See, the difference between the first generation, second generation, third, fourth, fifth is a matter of communication and automation, targeting, better weapon systems, and all that. Right? Whether it provides air superiority is a matter of question mark, because a lot of air superiority comes from uh, your ability to handle it. I think we have that, so don't worry. Modi had said Pakistan has to decide with they want to fight with India or poverty. Do you think it's the solution? I don't think so. Pakistan doesn't matter them whether they are in poverty or not. They will continue to fight with India. The existence of Pakistan is based on an anti-India rhetoric or a thought process, and that is fully steeped in the Pakistan army, which holds Pakistan together. So they will always fight with you. They couldn't care a damn whether the country is in poverty. Is it possible to eliminate the capability of Pakistan using and making nuclear weapon by us? We don't have this capability. Let's be very frank. We don't have this capability of ensuring that Pakistan can't make nuclear weapons, right? So we should not think of something which can't happen. Okay, so we have to live with it. We have to see how to neutralize it through our policies, through our doctrines, through our progress. Today, people are asking in Pakistan, so what if we have a nuclear weapon? Look at India, it has gone so far ahead. Look at Bangladesh, even without nuclear weapons, it has gone so far ahead. Let the people of Pakistan ask this and say, we don't need the nuclear weapon, we need progress. Will that change come? Very difficult. Not with Pakistan army. Okay, neither this government nor the previous government has invested in tech and military strength. How is India's rise inevitable? Yeah, that's a fair question, actually. India's rise is inevitable for the simple reason that the rate of change and the pace at which our economy is progressing is irreversible. Okay, that has happened. That has now happened since the turn of the century. We are only going up and up and up and up. So, in this kind of a scenario, our rise is inevitable. Now, at some point of time, our governments will also realize that a rising India needs better technology and better military strength, more than just mere, uh, saying so. At that time, they'll invest. That's the hope. That's the hope. Okay. And the next thing is, our two major adversaries, Pakistan and China, are on the back foot. So that gives you the inevitability, even if you are not militarily up. How are you? So I'm fine. Your comments on the Ukrainian Prime Minister sending wishes to India. Yeah, he'll do anything. Now he needs India very badly. The same chap never looked at India earlier. Now he needs India very badly because it is only through India that he can handle Russia and put a lagam on Russia. So he'll do it. It's not surprising at all. Okay. Indian mindset is poorly prepared for a yeah. Uh, we are not mentally prepared for conflict. We are not a nation which says, "आ जाओ, हम देख लेंगे." Right? We hedge. This has been unfortunately our culture and history. We have never thrown our invaders out. Okay. So let us see where we go. Today, many Pak YouTubers doing Gaga. Yeah, I think we answered this earlier. There's nothing fishy out there. They're now realizing where we are and where they are. So that's okay. Neighbors envy, owners pride. Thanks so much for your analysis. Earned a lot. Also, thanks for your service for defending our great country. Oh, that's my job. That was my job before you people were born. Unless you're older than me, that's a different story. For you to think for India to be aspire and become a blue water navy, or do we consider to focus on Indian Ocean region as a backyard and provide? Look, if you want to be a net security provider in the Indian Ocean, you have to be a blue water navy. As simple as that. They are not different. They are the same, Vijay. So you have to aspire for both. Okay, there is no doubt about it. As President, what is the status of Dhanush gun compared to Bofors? Please tell something about the propelled missile. See, the Dhanush gun has been inducted into service with one regiment, but they have not been able to sort out the production problems. There's something wrong fundamentally with the government and that manufacturing unit. That in 5 years you have not been able to manufacture and productionize a gun to the satisfaction of the Indian army. And if they're doing it so slow. When you had the technology, when you had the know-how, you got through all the trials, everything was done. You know, it is 99% you pass, 1% you couldn't go through. It is not even the last mile connectivity, it's the last half mile connectivity. If you analyze this gun and its whole story, you will find first 99.5%, what a fantastic story. The last 5% compensates and says, what a lousy story. It indicates our incapacity. Okay. Uh, the Dhanush gun and Bofors gun are different completely. The Dhanush is a 40, 35, 39 caliber. It has only range till 30, whereas Dhanush has a range till 37. It is a very modern gun system. But the rate at which it is being inducted, by the time it's fully inducted, it will become an old gun. Okay, that's the problem I have with that gun today. I fought with everyone, even after I retired from service, to sort out the problems. But हम तो इतना डीट है, ये ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री वाले इतने डीट हैं कि उन्होंने सॉर्ट आउट नहीं कर पाया. Yes, this is a sad thing for us. Look, Pralay is a cruise missile, a subsonic cruise missile. It has not yet been formally inducted into the army. We've carried out a couple of tests. So let us see as it goes ahead where we go. I think it has a range of about 1,000 odd kilometers. Nothing is demonstrated. Nothing is in black and white on this. Do you think Pakistani ISPR is ahead in a couple? Why are you so worried about what Pakistan is doing only and that we are useless? Why you want to compare the two of us? You look at them, they feel that our information and propaganda machinery is working well. So don't worry about it. We are okay. Okay. It takes 20 years. Yeah, you previously said it takes 20 years to equate China, India to equate China. Despite your show on China to reduce this time gap, in which key area should India focus its at mission mode, sir? First, politics. You have to be politically more clear as to what you want to do. Then, of course, you have to invest in few things. One is defense, one is technology, one is water and agriculture, one is pharmaceuticals. Okay, these three, four, you have to invest in a big way. Education. Okay, so you have to be more export oriented. It's a big list. Key areas are defense, water, uh, education, and things like that. Health. These are the ones which we have to focus on. India lacks good indigenous navigation system for missiles. Yeah, Someone is working on it based on our own INS, which is likely to come up. So let's see when it comes, what happens, and when it comes. Till then, we'll have to look at using global networks. Defense thought needs to be made part of higher learning institutions. Yes. The good thing is they've started. We've started. That's why I had went and spoke at the Lal Bahadur Shastri of administration to freshers. Many times I talk to people who are in chair in many conferences which I go and attend. Uh, I also talk regularly at the National Defense College every year, where people from the international committee come and do the course, and a lot of bureaucrats also do come and do the course. So, and that's a strategic course. So they're learning. The thing is there, but you need to broaden that horizon a bit. Another problem is our bureaucrats don't have any formal method of training between passing out from LBSNA and reaching a particular level. In between, oh, go level. Oh, it's not organized. We don't have a cadre of IAS people who can handle defense, which they should. Somewhere around 13, 14 years of iske baad, there should be set of people who thereafter are put into this defense and security stream interchangeably. We don't have that. Yeah. Is there any possibility to cripple enemy air defense with EMP? Yeah, this is there. You can use EMP, there's no problem. It's part of our thinking process also, and part of many people's thinking process. So we should also be prepared to get the EMP attack these days. Hi Anand, how are you? Vanakkam. And so, what is the status of India and Russia relationship now, especially after our relationship is good? That's why you heard President Putin's comment about India. In fact, in a way, you asked a question at the right time. Let me put it this way. If you see the triangle of Russia, China, North Korea, Russia North Korea relationship is increasing. As a result, China is feeling a little, peeved. So there are irritants coming between Russia and China. And Russia and China is a transactional relationship. आज दोस्त है कल नहीं होंगे. Okay. India and USA relationship is going strong. So Russia recognizes that its relationship with India is very important for it. Because tomorrow, if China lets it go, it will not have any power which will give it either a window or a balance with USA or Europe. Then it will be left alone. So they know it. Don't you worry about it. Can private sector chip in to reinforce defense services? Very limited, not as it. They want to, but the problem with our private sector is they want the goodies without taking responsibility or not investing. So till the time they take risks in investing into defense sector, uh, it will not happen. They will not turn around. They want orders, but they don't want to take risk in many things. That's a fact. I know it from. See, I'm very clear. Not warmongering, but preparedness seems to be a need. Why not make it part of? Yeah, I agree with you. But like I said, uh, I'm also trying to start an MBA on defense management. Let me see. I'm trying to start it in IIT Madras. If I can start an MBA on defense management and offer it to the public, and people start this thing and slowly, achieve what you are doing, asking for. Why didn't you think positions like defense minister and defense secretary should be given to ex-army generals? Yes and no. Yes, because then you'll get a lot of order. into the system, uh, like it has happened with our foreign ministry, where the ex-foreign secretary is now the foreign minister and is doing well. As far as the defense minister is concerned, if he's an ex-army general, he comes with a baggage. Because the army general or a Air Force general or a Navy general is more uniform centric. He will be more uniform oriented, whether you like it or not. So he has a colored vision. So that's a problem. The second thing is his acceptability in the political circles by politicians is a question mark. If you are in the bureaucracy or in foreign services and all, you can still get close to a political party, but not if you're in the armed forces. So there is a problem in this whole story, and people don't make you ministers unless they trust you, and they don't trust you. To be very honest, they trust you for many other things, but they don't trust you to take the country forward in the way it should take forward. That's a problem. That's our problem with our polity. You can do very little about it. Yeah, that's my hope. Let me see. So I'm sure you have mentioned before, but what is your role at IIT Madras? Okay, let me put it. Let me give you that story also. I'm a professor of practice. Uh, I'm the first professor of practice in India, incidentally. This professor of practice is a concept in Western countries where they take an experienced person as a professor of practice based on his practical capabilities to guide research, to guide XYZ. Okay. Now, when they called me into the IIT, like you rightly asked, I didn't know what my role was. And I didn't know why I was going there. Then they made me a professor of practice to guide their things. Then slowly I got into that thing, and then I helped them uh, design UAVs. Because in the artillery, I inducted all the UAVs into the Indian Army from 2020, not 2020, from 2000 onwards. I had 20 years of experience of inducting people into the UAV stream, training them, deploying them, and handling live issues of the UAVs. I also had the experience of procuring UAVs for the Indian Army. And at that time, when I retired, Indian Army had 3.5 times the UAVs of the Air Force and the Navy put together. So we were far ahead of the curve. And I was quite an expert at it. I still am. So I helped IIT develop technologies for UAVs and other things. Then, in the process, we started discussing in the aerospace department uh, how to get some new technology. And from there, we've jumped on now to the Ramjet projectile. And next week, for about a week, I'll not, my channel will shut down. Abhi bata raha hu. Because I'll be away carrying out tests, actual live tests of the Ramjet 155 shell. Uh, so you'll have to see old movies there. I mean, my old videos. Unless I get time there, and maybe then I will also do some videos from seaside resort. I'll not tell where exactly I'm going. Okay, so let's see. But that's a different story. So I was advising them. Now that project has come to almost there. It's high-end technology. So I developed technology, and I've been advising IIT on various other departments on many other things which IIT is doing with the armed forces. Plus, I take a course on defense technology for MS PhD students. It's started. It's a regular elective with 4 points credits, full credits, and my course is always oversubscribed. At its peak, I had a course strength of nearly 250 people. I had the biggest class in IIT. But now I've said I will only take about 60. I'm restarting. During COVID, I had to, stop taking classes because this was elective, and our capability was only to take core courses during COVID time. But now I started the classes again. Uh, Plus, whatever tech, I'm trying to start MBA for defense studies, MTech in weapon uh, design or ammunition design. So all these things I'm trying to do. It is a new concept which has come of age, and I think in more and more IITs and top level technology institutions should follow the IIT Madras model, and it will benefit all of us a lot. And I am trying to get more people in so that the thinking of defense increases in IITs. When we go and talk and interact with the faculty and talk to them and talk to students, then the response becomes better. That's the whole idea. I'm currently in first year of college. You want to join the armed forces? Just do your physicals. Baki pado. Get a good. What you read, what your college reads is good enough. Teaches you is good enough. But only thing you can do if you're interested in joining armed forces, do physicals, run daily. Do some physical exercises, play games, everything. That's all I can say. That's what I did. At least I was an athlete in school. I used to play cricket, and all that. Never did anything. I didn't even know at that time how to prepare for ND. I just went for SSB. I got through and sent a story. For the first 2 months in India, it was a little bit of a struggle. But got used to it. Okay, how can you do such things on all wars that India have fought? Something like the military. I'll do. I'll do it one of these days. I was the director of innovations in IIT G Lab, but the students and staff there had any strategic thought. Why not army generals like you penetrating this echo? I agree with you, Arunachal. The point is that it is to tell you the story. Professor Kamakoti and I met each other by chance one day, and we got to talk. He said, "Look, I need someone from the army to help." I said, "Okay, I'll help." And then one day I was passing through Chennai. I told him, "Come to the airport." So he came to the airport. I had about 1 hour only between flights. So he came to the airport with six professors. So we sat and had a cup of tea and spoke with them. And then one thing led to the other. I'm here, and now with me, I've brought three or four more army and navy officers. I'm hoping to get more slowly, and it's up to IIT to pick this up. Uh, like for example, I mean, now that you understand the environment, the other day there was an innovation inter IIT innovation competition. People had come from all IITs. So I was one of the judge for innovation. I mean, a lot of innovation was software oriented, AI oriented, and machine learning oriented and big data oriented, which I really didn't understand too much. But well, I was there and I was able to judge the innovations and learn a lot. And tomorrow, if there's some innovation to do, I'll do it. We have something called a CFI, Center for Innovation in IIT Madras. So those students keep coming to me and regularly asking me about how what they can do new and what I can help them. So that is there. It's up to IITG to take it up. If IITG wants, a very good friend of mine is sitting and doing nothing in Guwahati. He's a lieutenant general. He knows hell of a lot about aerospace because he was the director general of aviation. You tell someone from IITG to speak to me. I'll put them on. Let him go there as a professor of practice and learn. It took me 7 years to bring IIT Madras to the level it is. To the extent what I have not told you, people from the NSAB talk to us, or where there is an intersection between technology and strategy. They take our views. We need more such thinking. Okay, you made me open up because of your background. You will understand what I'm talking. And this is no great thing that is being done only at IIT Madras. I've been asking IIT Hawaii to do it, Mumbai to do it. They're not done it. They're not interested. I was speaking other day to IASC someone. I said, why haven't you started? Sir, it's a thought process. Soch. I will get you people from that area will be more than happy to be going daily to IIT Guwahati and help them out. Okay, China docking spy ships is a concern. Okay, we'll talk of it tomorrow. Muizu's Maldives is our topic, webinar. Ask this question. I'll answer. I was talking about, oh, Gandhinagar. They are new, they are better. Sorry, I thought when you said ITG, it is Guwahati. Gandhinagar, even Gandhinagar, I'll give you people. Yeah, I am completely with you. If you are interested, I'll get you on YouTube with me. You and I will have a session on technology. You ask me any question you want on this entire experiment. I will answer. You let me know. All you have to do is give me a contact number and we'll this thing. You give it to me on Twitter, Shitter, or you put your number on our WhatsApp group. I will I will get in touch with you. We'll have a session on YouTube on Gunner Shot only, on Gunner Shot Tech, and send it to your people. I'll tell you exactly how good this whole story is and how it is necessary for us to do. And what I mean, I don't know. Today, IIT Madras has about 25, 30 professors of practice, not one, in various disciplines. It's a fantastic idea. We need to do more. IIT Delhi is probably only. See, IIT Delhi is the thing which is right under the nose of this thing. So they have got certain cells from the Navy, Chevy, and all that. But thinking unka soch, that forward thinking is not there. I mean, I can tell you with pride and with a lot of confidence that it is only IIT Madras who has this tremendous model. And it is time this model is spoken of everywhere. Arunachal, I'm all to take this forward. If you are prepared to come, let me know. I'll get someone from my department also to talk. We can have a discussion on this. What are the chances of war between India and China in the future? Zero. It will not happen. Don't worry. Right. We've come to the end of our talk. Today was interesting because the questions diverted me into something which I really like to do. Okay. And unless our technology and strategy don't intersect, we also will not go anywhere. Anyway, uh, it should be topic for Man Ki Baat. First, let's talk and then put it for Man Ki Baat. First, let's talk and get some ideas and then probably give it कि भाई ये देख लो मन की बात के लिए बात कर लो आप. I have no problem with it. Okay. So Zahid is very clear. He wants to make surgical strikes in Pakistan. Again, I don't know, Zahid, whether you're from India or from Pakistan. If you're from Pakistan, we are coming after you. If you're from India, we are in no hurry to go there. Okay, last question. Can Indian citizen join foreign military without taking permission from Indian government? I don't think so. I don't think it's feasible. Right? Uh, but then you do it unofficially, you go abroad and do it, you can do it. Okay, that's the end of the story today, right? Tomorrow we'll talk of Maldives. So in the meanwhile, more people join in. Thankful, more people contribute. Very grateful. Okay, I'm very happy. I'm glad some people have contributed, and I'm thankful to them. You're doing a good service. Okay, doing a good service. You joined me in doing a good service. I was doing it for 6 years on my own through my pension, but now I have more people to help me out. राइट, विद दिस थैंक यू, गुड इवनिंग एंड जय हिंद।